Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with Darcey and Stacey. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist, professor, and YouTuber now. And let's see if anything of interest comes out of my face as I watch the show.
It's weighing on my heart, and I'm having doubts. If I had known Georgie was married at that time, I don't know if we would be in this type of relationship. Maybe just friends. I don't know who his ex is. I didn't even know they owned a car together till he got to Connecticut.
There's nothing wrong with Darcey saying, I don't want to get involved with someone who's still legally married. That's just not my thing. That's a deal breaker for me. There is nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with having the opposite opinion. I'm just like, well, yeah, he's still legally married, but they're in a process of divorce, and, I'm going to trust him from now. So both are okay. I just wonder if Darcey is going towards what she's saying because she's assuming it's nefarious, which it isn't necessarily. It could be, but it isn't necessarily.
So I feel like I have more to lose. Done all these things for him. I mean, bought gym equipment, paying for the rent. I basically created a safe haven for us to share, while this pandemic is happening. And I need to know he's going to be proactive dealing with the situation.
So there it is. There's that attitude. I need to know that he's going to be proactive. So that's the control response. She's, I'm guessing, total speculation, worried of abandonment, worried of being lied to, worried of being harmed and humiliated and tricked and deceived as she has in the past. That's a normal worry. That's probably a rational worry to have. She doesn't know this guy, and there's some indication like, wait, did you really tell me in the past, or are you just saying that? What's going on here? It's okay to have that worry. The healthy solution to that is to validate that for yourself, get other people to validate, for you, get him to validate your feelings, express those feelings, and just let those feelings be out there and not really have a solution to it, because there isn't really a solution. The only solution to it is if she somehow could read his mind and know if he's telling the truth when he says, I'm done with her and I'm into you. But there's no way to know that, because someone could be lying or they could be telling half-truths. There's no way to know it, particularly in the beginning of a relationship. And so without that ability to tolerate that uncertainty, a lot of people, especially on the show, will resort to control. They'll try to control the situation. You better do X and Y and Z, and it's a fantasy that somehow, through control, it'll alleviate your fears, because it won't. The uncertainty will still be there. Let's say that Georgie's like, okay, you're right. Okay, I'm going to jump on it. Okay, I'm going to do it. And he starts to do the process. Well, the pandemic, this is early in the pandemic, and so he only can do so much, right? But let's say he hires a lawyer. What does that prove? What if he doesn't have money for a lawyer? It just sounds like maybe he doesn't. So he's supposed to take out a loan to get a lawyer, even though he doesn't really need one, just because she wants to control, just because she's identifying if you have a lawyer, that shows you're somehow more serious or something. And in the process, as she does that, if she does it sufficiently to him, he's going to be like, whoa, like I'm doing my process and we're doing it right. Me and my ex, it's amicable. Yes, we share a car together, but it's more just, out of necessity. And if you want us to extricate ourselves from the car, we'll move forward in that. But she kind of needs the car sometimes, and I kind of need the car sometimes. We can't afford a different car, but, we'll move forward on that. Just don't worry. But, I worry, what could happen here is as she, gives all these messages, he could be hurt by that and scared about, is she always going to be this way with me? And I feel distanced. And now I'm not quite sure if I want to be in this relationship. He starts to take a backseat. She gets triggered by that. She starts to attack and make assumptions now. And then he's like, oh, I'm out of here. And this is how these sorts of things begin. Now, I don't know, as I've been saying, maybe Georgie's an a-hole and he's a jerk face and there's all sorts of problems. But if he's not, Darcey really is taking a risk on the relationship by not expressing the feelings, not even necessarily recognizing the feelings that are underlying everything for herself. I don't even know if she's aware herself of the feelings that she's having, that I'm speculating, and jumping to control as a response. So let's see how they deal with it.
It's hot, these rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Wedding bells. Maybe it's a sign.
So there it is, right? There's that idealization. In the midst of her saying, he's still married, I don't know if I can trust him, in all those uncertainty feelings, she hears wedding bells and she's like, oh, wedding bells, honey, let's get married. And I think she's serious. I think she's like, let's get married now. But of course, he is legally married right now. He can't possibly get married for a while. So I don't know how he feels about it. Now, maybe she's being playful and she's communicating that she really likes him. And maybe he receives it really well. He's like, wow, she really loves me. She wants to get married. That makes me feel good. Definitely a possibility in the future. I don't know how it's going on between the two of them, but as I've been saying from the beginning, I'm terrified that for Darcey, this is going to go down the exact same road that it has in the past.
I was really excited to introduce Georgie to my family, but I don't know. This is the right time to do this. I don't really want anyone in my family affected by this. Stacey could say whatever she wants about it. It's my kids that matter the most, I've had 2 really relationships, and they were hurt by seeing the things that they saw with that. And I just don't want them to be like, oh, Mom, like, whoa, this is like maybe even worse. I mean, technically legally married.
So there's a number of things I'll say. One is it makes me really sad whenever Darcey or Stacey will say something like, I can't tell my twin sister because she's going to judge me. I mean, they don't say that exact sentence, but that's essentially what they're saying. When they should be in each other's corner. They've been through a lot of the same issues. They're going through a lot of the same issues on this show. They should be on each other's side, and they so infrequently are on each other's side, really, and they exhibit that both. They're just like, well, I better not tell Darcey about it because, she's gonna give me crap for that one. And now Darcey's saying that about Stacey. It just makes me sad that they can't have at least each other to depend on. And really, we should depend on everyone to validate us and slow down and not judge us and trust our judgment, this sort of thing. The other thing she's talking about is her kids. This brings up an interesting question. Now, they're on a reality TV show, and presumably the kids watch it. So there's nothing you can prevent them from seeing. If it's going to be on the show, the kids are going to find out about it. But most people are not on a reality TV show. I'll talk about that. If this was not a reality TV show, one of the things I might recommend to the couple to consider, not as a recommendation that they do, but just to consider, is they don't tell the kids anything about this. It's not really their business. It gets them involved in a drama or a situation or a worry that the kids probably shouldn't be involved. I mean, I might even recommend to Darcey that she doesn't even introduce Georgie to the kids for months. Now, there are different ways to do this. It's not like you can't date while you have kids and introduce the kids to it. But given the history with Jesse and with Tom and how those things went, it wouldn't be unwise to say, okay, kids, just let you know, I'm going to be dating occasionally, and I'm just not going to involve you in it. And when I'm ready to introduce you to someone, I'll do it. But it probably won't be for a number of months. I'll be dating, who knows, I'm going to love you and we're going to have a good relationship, but I'm going to have these other relationships, and when one rises to the level where I think it's stable enough, then I'm going to introduce that person to you. And you just have that boundary. Now, it's not the only way to do it, of course, and sometimes there are logistical reasons, like they're just going to see him coming around, and so they're going to have questions. But I recommend that every parent going through this situation have a approach that takes the kids' long-term emotional growth into consideration. If we could go back to the beginning when she first started dating Jesse 5 years ago, or however long that was, I think most of us, including Darcey, would say, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't want the kids to meet Jesse at all, because it would have been better if the kids never met him. And Tom, for that matter, as well. Even though in the moment I thought they should meet him because I'm going to get married. When I was with Jesse, I thought we were going to get married. When I was with Tom, I thought we were going to get married. And with Georgie, I think we're going to get married. But I've been here before. So maybe I should just not introduce them. Let's just not involve the kids in this sort of situation because they're not old enough to handle the situation. Because on this detail, I can absolutely imagine the girls getting very upset. Wait, he's still married? They're kids. They don't understand adult situations. They don't understand the nuances of divorce, or at least I'm assuming they don't, or at least they're at risk of not understanding it. So how about the kids just don't know about it. It's fine that they're not involved in those details. If the kids have questions, you can be like, yeah, mommy's dating this guy and I like him, but who knows? Things could fall apart tomorrow. Don't worry about it, kids. I'll introduce you when I'm pretty sure things are going to work out okay. And that could be months from now. But just know that I've got it under control. I've got my support system. You kids just be kids. Don't worry about mommy's dating life. Let me worry about you. Let's worry about your dating life. Let's worry about your school. Let's worry about, where you're going in the future. How are you doing with your friends? Let's have it be a more one-way directional relationship. That's what kids need developmentally.
I just don't want to hurt them, Georgie. You have to understand that. I feel like there's been so many times I just give myself away, and then I get over in the end.
Because dealing with the wrong people. I know it's not easy for you, it's not easy for me to go through all these problems and stuff, but, we need to face it, and in the end, everything's gonna be all right.
I'm hopeful.
All right, so I think that was pretty healthy right there for the most part. She is essentially saying what I was saying earlier, which is, I'm afraid I'm going to get screwed over, and I'm afraid this isn't going to work out. And that gives him a chance to rise to the occasion, which he does. He reassured in his way. And they're dealing with the uncertainty together. He didn't make any false promises, I don't think. Well, who knows? But he's not saying, we'll definitely get married, you have nothing to worry about, all these kinds of things. Or I'll definitely be divorced next week. We'll see people on the show sometimes lie in that way because they're trying to please. That was healthy if they are being truthful, particularly him, because we don't know him as well. That's just a big question mark. And, we're just going to have to live with that. We don't know who the guy is, so we're just going to have to wait and see. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.